I want the women that are hearing this to really understand that safety doesn't come from anywhere but inside of themselves.
Mm.
And that when they can get that and feel that, there's a level of freedom and liberation that they don't even know is possible and don't even know exists. And it is so beautiful and perfect and amazing that they don't feel safe in their bodies right now.
I love that. Wow. So the message I hear is to find that safety, even if we feel unsafe. Like to recognize that it's okay to feel unsafe in this body, and yet learning to be okay with all of these different parts of ourselves and finding that safety in ourselves regardless of circumstance, regardless of what's going on or how we're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's liberation, right?
It's liberation, and it allows us then to be open. Right? And instead of this societal constriction that women live in nowadays, where everything is like tight and tight abs and tight this and tight pussies and tight, right? And like once safety comes in, right, there's a release.
Yeah, it's amazing because when you just said that, once safety comes in, I notice a full body like breath.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice that surrender piece. Like, even though I'm feeling super uncomfortable right now, I'm just going to surrender into this. And like, there's that breath that comes online and it's like, I'm okay. No matter what, I'm okay.
No matter what. And we don't have to push any of the discomfort away and any of the fears away and any of the places in ourselves that are like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Like that gets to be here. And inside of our body, we get to remain open and loving.
Oh God, I feel so welcomed here. I feel so just nourished by your frequency and by that concept. Like I feel like right now, just by saying that, I feel safe to be here. And I want to encourage all of our viewers, no matter how you're feeling right now, no matter if you're on here and being triggered, no matter if you're wanting to make something wrong, no matter like whatever it is, like, can you breathe through that and know that you belong and that you're safe here?
Even the parts of you that are like, fuck this, fuck that, I don't got time for this, I'm bored. Like, my God, I love those parts and I'm so tired of people not saying them. Like, please let us know. We love it. Like, yes, there's your aliveness, right?
And that's so contrary to what we've been taught, you know, and I still work through my edge through that every day. You know, is it really okay to share this part of me? Is it really okay to be this self-expressed, even if I'm made wrong? Even if people don't like me, even if people reject me, even if people, you know, like just and again, can I be okay to face my own rejection wound, my own abandonment wound, my own fears, and still be willing to show up and be myself?
And in facing those wounds, the abandonment wounds, the fears, all of that, it's not ours. It's not just mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I do it on my own, I'm doing it for everyone.
That's
right?
it.
And then it's like, I'll step into that. I got that. Like I can do that. Once I get myself out of it, then I can have it all. I can be all of it. Right. And there's this piece around like, if I can take all the parts of me and bring them fully forward, then what I'm really doing is loving all of humanity at once.
I so love you.
I am. I'm loving the murderers. I'm loving the old cranky people that I have inside of me, right? I'm loving the tired mom. I'm loving that. I can love all of them at once if I can bring all of them to the forefront. And that to me is what liberation looks like, the ability to love, you know?
Yeah. Thank you.
Totally.
Thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the world. I feel so welcomed here, so safe with you, like I belong. So Genevieve, I really would love to welcome you into the place of understanding what is one or two ways that you've really given your power away through your journey.
Hmm. So the second that I stopped identifying with truth, the truth of me, and I started to identify with all the masks that I wear, which was really the second that I was born into the world. That's the second I gave my power away. Right? I forgot.
Instantaneous chills.
Yeah, and then it was like my whole childhood was figuring out, like, is this me? Is this me? Is this me? Is this me? Where's my power? Is this it? Is this it? And I was constantly searching for that peace and that love and that joy and that aliveness that I knew was in me, but I had lost the second I stepped foot on the planet. And I don't know why. I don't really care why. Right? I don't really look at why.
Mind wants to know why, right? And explain all of it.
I don't look at why at all. All I know is that it's like it was a visceral feeling in my body, this feeling of this body is holding you back. Wow. That was my really early memory, was like something's and it's crazy because like that the first thought was like, your body's not safe. This is the safety piece again, right? Your body's not safe. Your body's holding you back. And so the rest of my journey until a few months ago, it really solidified. The rest of my journey was like, okay, if this body is not safe and this body is holding me back, I'm going to do everything that I can to like mutilate it, basically. I'm just going to be angry at it forever. And so, I mean, at 8 years old, I remember saying, I'm not going to eat anymore. And then at 11, 12, puberty hit, and I consciously, right? It's interesting, the victim mindset, because we can do that too. But now when I look at my story, it's framed in a way that, no, actually, I consciously put my body into unsafe situations where, my first few sexual encounters were violent and really brutal. And for a long time, I carried the victim story around that. And like, oh, he took my power away.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
And that's not true at all.
Wow. I just want to I'm just radiating in full body chills. I'm feeling this so much, because I feel the ways that like coming into the world for you, it was like that instantaneous, like, I'm not safe and this body's not safe. And so like, I am going to now turn against myself. I'm going to mutilate myself. I'm going to hurt myself because I'm not safe. I'm not safe in this body. And so then you attracted people that reaffirmed that belief system. Like, I am worthy to be mutilated. Like, that's what I deserve. Right. And it's like, and it's so hard because the victim wants to not look at that and wants to actually make that everybody else outside is actually the fucking enemy. Right. And so, and I hear the truth of you owning that you actually lived in that story for, I mean, how long?
I have manifestos like against my rapists, and I have like rage, right, of like books and books and years, like, oh my God. And it gave me an excuse for so long to treat men like shit.
Wow.
For so long. And to be like, oh, you're just like all of them, right? And I was actually to the point that I stopped even being with men. I was married to a woman. I was a pure lesbian forever. Like, I would not let men around me. I wouldn't let them love me. No one.
Men are not safe. Men are not safe. Men need to be kept out. Men didn't need to be like pushed aside.
Castrated, right? Like, let's castrate all of them. Like, that's the frequency that I was running with. And I, in doing that, took on all the masculine energy that I wasn't allowing in. So I became
the controller.
Yeah. And like hyper unconscious masculine, like angry. And anyone who knows me from like 6 years ago, they're like, run away from Genevieve.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends used to call me and be like, "You're scaring me. Like, I'm scared of you." And I didn't understand because but this is the piece, is like I was operating from such a place of the world is not safe and people are going to hurt me and I don't want to get hurt again. So I
Yes.
put on, right? I
Yes.
put on this tough girl thing because like what else are you gonna do? And like I love, like it's so sweet. It's like I had no idea. Like, I
Wow.
don't know.
Yes. And I really want to say to our viewers, can you relate? Like, is there a part of you that has been really hurt? And so you put that tough mask on, you put that like wall up, that fortress around your heart because you have so much fear of being hurt again, or so much fear of feeling that pain. And yet you're creating that pain because it's the very thing that you're running from.
Yeah.
So how did you come to this recognition? Like, what happened? What, like, I mean, obviously I hear you were getting feedback of like, I'm scared of you. Like, you know, and maybe some of that was like through feedback, but I really want to hear like, what was the pinnacle that like popped?
I mean, it was definitely like a journey, and then there was a pop.
Right.
Like one or two of the journey pieces, because I
Please, if I'm going too fast, thank you for slowing me down.
You're great. You're so good. So the anger, rage, fear against men. I started to. So what happened? Like from my rape on, so like 6 years after that, and I didn't even know it was rape because it was so far repressed, and it always happens, right? And now I'm delightfully getting all these other violations popping up into my memory, and I'm like, interesting. Okay, so like here gets to be my really dramatic journey that I get to have as all these gifts, and it's amazing. Wow. It's amazing. Like it really is beautiful, and it's beautiful that the universe waited until now to show me all the rest.
I so love that. And I want to just like really highlight that for their viewers out there, is like the perfection of our own unique journeys, and how much work you've done and how much safety you've created inside of yourself to now actually say, I can welcome in this, knowing that I was violated. I can now feel this. I am ready, you know, and that's how much work you've done on yourself to feel this safe to go through these experiences.
Yeah. So it started to turn. It started to turn when I started to step into kink and BDSM, and that was like my first time, like key of like, wow, actually I am safe, and actually. Like at this point, it was kind of like level 101 safety, where I was just learning that my body could actually hold space and take up space in the room. And it could take her damn time, and she could do what she wanted, and she could claim her desires. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I had a voice. Wow. And so to have that experience where, I mean, it was so profound to me to be able to be consciously on the other side of, you know, the play that had happened to me, and be like, oh, this is what they're feeling. This is how their energy was. This is why this is where the rage came from. And really loving them. Like on a deep level, loving them.
Wow. That's so powerful. Full body chills. Full body chills. Wow.
As I really do. Like I really, truly, there was this level of like, oh, I get it. I have that level of rage in me too. I get it.
You're no longer the enemy. That is actually me as well.
Yeah.
Like, and I can love what was going on with, like, for them and for them, because that's also within me.
And within everyone. It's a collective consciousness piece, right? Like everyone has the ability to be a perpetrator. Yeah. Everyone.
Totally.
Everyone.
And our pushing away that we are not that is actually what continues to create, that causes it that we are.
100%.
Because again, there's this fear, like, I so don't want to be seen as that. I'm so not that. And so what we do is we deny it, we repress it, and then we become it. And I want to say how many women out there, it's really the backlash of the Me Too movement is then they feel so victimized, and now they're in a place of like such make wrong, and like they have become the perpetrators.
Yeah, and they're still operating from a place of I'm not safe, right?
Yeah.
And so, which like, that's what I did when I started the dominatrix work. So it's a really great level 101. It's like reclaiming, getting your voice back,
Yes.
it in your body, what it feels like, having that experience. And then so that was like step one. And then step two for me was that the universe gave me a baby boy.
Wow.
And I remember the day that I found out that I was pregnant with a boy. I went to Central Park and I sobbed. And I sobbed and I said, I have no idea how I'm going to love him.
Wow. So honest. So honest.
I was terrified. A white boy, right? Like, I'm raising a white man, and I had no idea. And I thought to myself, well, let me just raise him really gender neutrally and like give him princess toys. And he's not that at all. Like, he has really strong masculine energy.
Wow.
And in my pregnancy, I said, you know what? Now's the opening. Like, this fear is the opening.
Look at it, welcoming.
Yeah. And I leaned into it, and I remember the first day that I let a man hug me.
Wow.
This is after like 13 years. Like a full body hug. He was this huge, tall black man.
Woo!
And I, at first, ran out of the room. I wasn't ready. And then a woman said to me, who had been through a similar experience, she said to me, at what point are you going to change the story in your body? Like, at what point are you ready? Do you want to do it now? Right?
Wow, that's powerful, that woman. You'll remember that for the rest of your life, yeah?
She's incredible. That was incredible. And I hugged him, and it was like, whoa. And then I got divorced. I was married to a woman. We got divorced, and I started to fall in love with men.
Wow.
And I recognized that, oh, I'm not a lesbian. I'm just terrified.
Yeah. Like that. That's powerful. That is powerful. And like to just be able to admit that and to be like, okay, I see how that served me, but there was nothing wrong that I made that choice, right?
Right. And like getting kicked out of the lesbian community, like
going through all that pain.
Woo, like the stigmatization of that. And like she's just like all the movies where they go and they date the men, right? Like
all the make wrong, all the like, oh shit, I can only imagine. Like again, that whole like you're not a part of this tribe now and you're betraying like maybe even their betrayal, abandonment shit coming up and then projecting out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was intense. But and the journey of loving those men, I've been like, the universe just keeps giving me incredible people that I'm like, oh, like this is terrifying in this heart opening space that I get to step into that I've never stepped. I mean, I'm now, working on it, but there's a girl inside of me that's about 13 years old, just around the time of the rape, and she runs fast.
Right.
Like the second that she's scared, she's like, adios, see ya, I'm out, like heart closed, goodbye. And it has been such a nurturing of loving her and honoring her, because it's not about the guys at all, right? It's this honoring.
I love that. I love that. I love that piece. And to all our women out there is to recognize that the thing outside of yourself that is triggering this anger, this fear, it's really not about the person that outside of you. It's you. It's you. It's that part that wants to be honored. It's that part that wants to be loved.
And the big turning point, all these little moments to get to the big turning point for me.
I just want to stop. I feel like this, like so many turning points. It's like you're like one oozing, amazing, transformational, popping, like, so there's been a lot of turning points so far. So.
And I've only told told like two. I mean, there were more, but I wanted to give you like the.
We'll reschedule another call. So.
I mean, the book is being written as we speak, but the big turning point was I was getting work done on my body, and it was sexual in nature. They were working on my vagina, like on the vulva on the outside, and it was like 5-6 hours. There was a man and there was a woman.
Wow.
And that day, I call it my homecoming. I call it my rebirth. That day, I recognized so many things. One that was huge was that I was actually never violated.
Wow.
And it's actually not even possible to be. Right? I mean, yeah, for me, like, God, who's a woman for me, she's this like goddess thing. She came down and showed me. She showed me all of it. She showed me my light. She showed me how my light was never taken away. Showed me how I don't need to go get it back because it never went anywhere. I recognized that day that this is all this delicious dance, and actually there's nothing wrong, and you can't really do anything wrong. And there are only little missteps. And so those men that hurt me, it was just like they stepped on my toe.
Wow.
Right? My light's not going anywhere with them. And then I recognized that, I mean, the big, that we're all one big thing. We're all one. You're me, I'm you.
Yeah.
The men I love are me, I'm them. Those guys that hurt me are me, I'm them. And
no separation.
Nothing. And so when that's there, why not play? Like when that's there, like why not just, I feel like what I felt on that day was like, oh, God just created all of these things in order for us to just play. Like men and women are actually the same thing.
Right. Like, again, taking off the gender identities,
Come on, like,
yeah.
That's even a thing. Like, we're not even, like, I'm a man just as much as you are. Like, I'm a woman just as much as, like, whatever, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. I get a lot of projection, like somehow I'm not feminine enough, or I need to fix this about me to be more feminine. It's bullshit. It's just bullshit.
It's a play. It's a dance. I get that all the time, too. I have a strong masculine, and I'm like, cool, that's where I want to play today.
Yeah. Like, and that part of me is welcome here, and it's awesome, and it totally belongs, and it's,
great.
Yeah.
It's great. And like, I have a vagina. Great. Cool.
Right.
But then I can still walk around as if I have a cock sometimes if I want to.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Cause like once we take out the make wrong, once we take out all of this sort of like, I need to protect myself, and like the world is a dangerous place. And all these stories, it's like we really do enter this amazing, incredible, delicious playground of experience. Mm-hmm. It becomes, wow, what's the experience that I want to play out right now?
I love that you said right now, because it's right now.
It's right now.
It's not a month from now. It's not what should I have played in a week ago. It's like, what's my body want right now?
Yeah.
That's it. And then in that, like, I can have the experience just a few weeks ago where I was meditating, and another violation, I can't even call it that anymore. I don't know. A misstep came up.
When that man stepped on my toes.
That guy stepped on my toe. Another one that I didn't know, in a basement. I was 6. I felt it. I saw it. The movie played out, and I let myself cry and weep and play in the grief and the rage. And I played in it, and then I played out of it. Like, I played in it so hard that my nervous system was able to fully process what just happened inside of my mind. Mm-hmm. So that I could rest open and loving, as well as being in all of it. Like, I could be all of it at once. And that's, to me, this concept that I can actually have all of it is something that I never knew was possible. I always gave away parts of myself because I thought, this isn't allowed here.
Yeah.
And now learning, like, no, I can be super loving and grieving and raging and happy and angry. Like I can do it all. And like,
Yes.
I don't worry about whether or not someone else can take it because they're the same as me. So like we're actually fine.
I so love that because often, you know, like you've seen it in my videos, I'll be like snotty, but I'll be passionate, but I'll be like super like my fear, and then like I'm crying, and I get a lot of people like, God, you're really wounded. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, are you okay? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking okay. I'm just this, and it needs to come out, and I'm still here with my heart, and like, you know, and it's like the willingness to just recognize, like, as we're feeling and we're allowing the body to feel safe to express exactly what we are, what's happening is like the alchemy is happening. It's like, oh wow, this rage is coming through, I'm allowing it, and of course I don't want to dump it on anyone, I don't want to hurt other people with it, but it's here, and so I'm going to let it ride through, and there's nothing wrong with it. And as I do that, my body recalibrates, it reattunes, and then what happens is there's some other frequency.
Yeah.
And that is really, it's wild. It's coming back into our wild, what I call primal innocence.
Yeah. It's like, it's being a baby. Like I look at my son and I'm like, he's got it.
He's got it. And isn't he just like all over the place?
Yeah.
Like
he's perfect. Yeah. He's just a hot mess. Like he's
hot mess.
Like his hamster died the other day and the both of us just like cried on the couch and like grieved. And I was like, this is perfect. I was like, you're doing such a good job. This is it. And he's like, but Mom, I want the hamster back. And I was like, I get it, man. Like I am crying too with you. And like
Permission.
Right? Like, and now I look back to like when I was so worried about raising a boy, and I'm like, oh my God, like A, gender's not even a thing, and B, I just get to feel with them, and that's basically my job.
Wow.
Just like allow it. It's it.
You so inspire me. Like I have chills all over my body multiple times this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you for the commitment to show up and to be the change through your journey. Mm. Whew. Yeah. And I just want to say the piece of like moving into those layers through the level of the violation story and the level of like the walls and the fortress, and to be willing to go into like sacred BDSM work, and to be willing to go into those places of such edge play where you are in a safe container, opening yourself to be in a place of utter surrender and playing with those edges where someone is now coming in a very consensual way, and you are giving the consent for them to do, you know, to play in these really edgy areas. I mean, that says a lot about the level of work that you've done. And I guess I just want to open it up to you. How has that liberated you?
Oh my God. Thank you for seeing that and honoring that.
Oh my God. Do you know how many people out there, because I work a lot of people with kink, and I'm into kink, and I get made wrong all the time that I have trauma and I'm re-traumatizing myself, and it's bad, and so I just want to give it over to you as someone that has been really violated and is going into that work. Just what can you say about that?
So it's, God, there's so much goodness. What's coming up first for me is the level of surrender that I've been able to reach in my own life to God. The level of surrender that I can reach when I'm with my Dom is like parallel. It's parallel. The deeper that I can go with him and stay intimate and connected and conscious. Okay, so I'm not flying. I used to fly out a lot. Right? And that's why I think it is important to have a teacher when you go into these edges, because I didn't recognize that I was even doing that. So now that I can remain conscious, I can literally feel my nervous system in my body learning that it's okay to let go. And then I can take that with me everywhere. Like when I have a moment where I freak out about something in life, and I can say to my nervous system, body, can you let go the way that you did when you were tied upside down?
Yes.
And that's it. And then my body goes, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I got that. right?
Yeah.
And same thing if you're playing on the other side, and for my body to learn, like when I'm on stage in front of a couple thousand people and my body feels really unsafe and uncomfortable, I can go back to, do you remember when you were in that session with that guy and he was bigger than you and he was scarier than you and you held your ground? Can you do that again in your body?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
remember how much you loved him, remember how much you cared for him. Can you do that again in your body? And so I just do the same thing. And BDSM for me allows me to play in this energy that I can't access from tantra work or just sensual touching. Like I can't, it's not there, right?
yes. Thank you. Oh my God. You're just putting words to everything that I feel.
Yeah.
You're putting, because again, it's these playgrounds where these frequencies can be penetrated that I literally haven't found any other work that can bring me to these really high states of actual, for me, total God surrender and union.
Total God surrender. And it's a, the nervous system is so almost overstimulated in order to unravel in those situations that it's like we bring it to its peak. That's a good dominant understands when the peak is about to get hit, right? So we're watching it be brought to the peak, and then we watch the unraveling process unfold.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, it's sacred. Like it's sacred. It's sacred work.
Yeah. Can I tell you, because my Dom recently told me a story, one of my Doms told me a story, and I'd love to share how he worked with someone that had a lot of trauma. Can I share? Because I think it would be really powerful to our viewers. So this woman, she's definitely a masochist. Like she loves pain. Like that's her thing. She gets really off on, really being like mutilated. And a good Dom before going there, and for the request of what she wants is to really, for me, a conscious Dom is like exploring a little bit about her background, like where, what have you been through, like is there trauma there? And so she found out that her dad used to beat her, right? So there was actual real trauma, and so then she associated that beating with being loved and like really liking it. And so he's like, I'm willing to go to those places with you. And yet what I want to do now is to understand that I'm going to be working in the actual more subtler layers of sensation and getting you to stay really connected in your body and recognizing that actually each little sensation that I'm like creating with you is out of such love and reverence for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to communicate with you, and I want to actually see your body to learn to respond in the subtle rippling of sensation and have you be super connected, and to allow the somatic experience of those subtler layers of what's coming up, instead of, because the other part of you that's like going super, you're leaving as you're being really mutilated.
Right. And that's why the consciousness around kink feels like such a calling for me to put into, because there's so much, I go to parties in New York a lot and I see people just flying out of their bodies, totally disconnected, totally and totally fine, because how the hell are you supposed to know anything different, especially if you have a trauma background?
Right.
I used to dissociate every time I was in front of a man, even if it wasn't sexual.
Right.
Like, I'm standing in the room with a man, I'm out of my body. Like, I'm gone. So I have no judgment. Like, I get it. Right? And what they're missing, the reason I want to step into it is because what they're missing is the beauty and the magic on the other end of it. And it comes from this sweet titration that you spoke about, that your Dom does, right? It's you're edging and then bringing it's almost like, it's almost like doing parts work where you're healing the shadow by just shining a shit ton of light on it. Yeah. But we have to pull up the shadow first, which is why we go and get tied up or do like a rape scene. Like, we're doing that to pull it. Yeah. And then we're bringing everything else in that's true, which is love. Yeah. And then, because everything in the past is actually in the present, we're fixing, like literally not fixing, there's nothing to fix, but we're going and we're giving truth to your whole experience.
Right. And it's so powerful because the only way that I found is to actually really move through the somatic trauma is to actually totally reenact it, and to then reenact it and then create a new patterning of what's possible, you know. And the story is like that Dom was creating that, like, I'm going to recreate this, but I'm actually going to titrate by pulling in and helping coax that part of you that's safe to be here, and safe to be here in the subtle sensations, and to recognize, like, I'm not here to mutilate you. I'm actually here to, like, really give you tons of love in your edge, and repattern, you know, that it's like, you don't need to just now feel love by being mutilated. Like, you can actually feel love just by being as you are, with just me, like, feeling the presence of a man right here, you know, and just feeling this love and reverence for you in a subtle sensation.
And the reason that it's so, like, because a lot of people are like, well, why don't we just, like, talk about it and then give love, right? And I get that. And there's something that happens to nervous systems when trauma, which at this point I feel like everyone is, like, if you're not traumatized, like, you're not living on the planet, right? Or you're not feeling, because if you weren't yourself, then everyone around you was, and so you're picking up all of it. So our nervous systems are all very different, and some nervous systems need the intense pain. Some nervous systems need, you know, certain types of physical responses and reactions in order to actually let go and unravel. And you know, like, I would never have been able to eye gaze with someone before I went through my kink journey. It wouldn't have been possible because my nervous system was so tightly wound up that, like, I couldn't do it. I was like this. I was so constricted, you know?
Yeah, and that's really beautiful, because I want to help our viewers to understand that polarity. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, we should be able to do things that are more, like, simple, like eye gazing. And yet when I go to an extreme, the opposite direction, that's actually what creates an opening for me to feel safe to do something that's eye gazing. Like, recognizing that polarity. Like, for me, when I've been tied and suspended and left and actually told by my Dom, like, I'm just going to leave you here for a while, and I just want you to, like, really feel that. And I really want you to know, like, I'm going to go in the other room. Like, I'm here if you really need me, but I just want you to know, like, I'm just going to leave you and you're okay. And, like, just, like, coaxing that area out. And every part of my mind is like, I'm not okay. I need you to take me down. I'm not safe. My joints are going to fall apart. Like, and as I work through every programming and I'm like, okay, I can let that go. I'm safe. I can let that go. What happens is, like, this liberation, and it's like, I can expand into the freedom of being fully one with everything.
Right. There's no actual opposites, right? And so we're actually, like, that's why to do the work. That's why to do all of this work, is because if we're only playing in one polarity, we can't fully be ourselves. We can't show up fully. It's not possible.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that, and now I get it. And I'm like, all the people, wake up to that.
Right. I'm so loving you. Like, one of the best statements on this whole call was, like, I didn't recognize until I went to my first kink experience that it was actually safe to eye gaze with somebody. Like, by going into a kink experience, I'm like, I love you. I fucking love you. Like, how many people? It's so good.
Yeah, yeah. I came at it, like, I was talking to a friend of mine who's very spiritual, and he's now working into, like, the descent of his darkness. And I feel like I started in darkness and found light after. So we're
right. I'm the same way. I'm like the deep diver into the
into the, like, I found it from the murky, but, like, it's all great. Like, we're all on the same journey anyways. So
right, we're all just approaching it from different facets and ways. And, like, I'm looking at this affirmation on my wall. It says, the deeper I descend, the higher I soar. And I just feel like that as I just deepen into all of the messy and the dark and those places that I'm terrified to go into, like, it just creates a catapulting of expansion and flying and soaring and freedom.
Then there's no, like, the way that I live my life now is, like, absolutely nothing could hurt me. Like, I actually fully believe that. I've gone through all the worst case scenarios. I've lived most of them. And I'm like, am good. Like, I'm actually like, there is nothing. I'm like, I don't have, the fear isn't really a thing in my body. And if
Wow.
it is, it pops up for a second. And then I know exactly what to do. And there's this ease and this serenity and this play in it when it comes in of like, oh, funny, fear's here. Fascinating. And then you roll with it. Versus what it used to be. If I'm afraid, I gotta run, I gotta do this.
Right.
So there's such a freedom when we can really, really expand to the point of holding all of these energies at the same time. Right? Like we can be ourselves, and the world needs more of people being themselves.
Yeah.
So
Wow, love, Genevieve, it's such a pleasure to meet you. It's such a pleasure to get to know you. And I've already seen on the wall, like people are, wonderful, also colleagues, Ashe Sundara, who does a lot of erotic and kind of embodiment work. Gigi, who does a lot of awakening work, like Riveted. Thank you so much. The healing is in the body. So I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers and just some amazing lights and also coaches that are out there, like that inspire me, that are coming on here and commenting. And I just want to let you all know that and I want to encourage Genevieve to go back and comment on people's comments, and we'll be here in dialogue with you. And I am, but I think she is too, is really so blessed and grateful that you have joined us on this call. I know I'm completely lit up and inspired. And how can people get to know you, Genevieve? Where can they find you? What's your offering right now?
They can find me. So Facebook is my favorite place to play right now because I like seeing your face. So you can find me there and comment on my things and connect with me there. And I have right now in New York, I have a New York offering. So if there are any New Yorkers, March 1st, we're having an experience where we're doing all of the things that you and I just spoke about in person. So we're getting down, we're getting dirty, we're getting naughty, we're getting brash. It's called Get Down, Let Go. It's also my birthday. So I would love for everyone to be there. And if you're not in New York, stay tuned. I'm doing a Sacred Kink webinar coming up in mid-March. So keep an eye on it. It's going to be so good.
I am so excited. I'm actually going to a play party on Saturday, so I'm super excited too. And this is my first play party just by myself. Like, I don't know anybody, and like, so this is a big edge for me. And because I've usually gone with like other friends or, partners or people that I kind of go with. So I just want to be vulnerable. This is an edge that I'm stepping into. So, and thank you so much for your offering, and I just want to encourage anybody in New York, like, go check it out. And anybody that is online, go check out this webinar. If there's a part of you that's been curious about this work, that wants to get into it, listen to that and just like give yourself permission to go, I'm scared and I kind of want to know more.
Yes, the fear is so real, and like just lean in.
Lean into our edge. I'm constantly leaning into my edge. So, and also just want to say, like, I have 8 more days until my online program closes. And this is for women that are ready to really live liberated in their truth, their purpose, their sensuality, while also thriving in connection, intimacy, communication. And I'm excited. The women that are coming on board are like, they're lighting me up. I'm learning from them. We're growing together. We're pushing our edges. We're like expanding into our offerings to come out and be bold and big and be of service, whatever that is. And a lot of women in the realms of sex, love, and intimacy, like one woman that's like starting a company called Pussy Reclamation. She's all about releasing sexual energy through dance and helping women become more in their bodies. One woman that's like been shamed all her life, that's like wants to be liberated in her expression, and it's all about her healing journey. So just lots of different women coming in different places and just supporting all of each other to thrive and be our beautiful, bold, perfect selves. You can check that out at www.heartninja.net, and I'll link it below. And I just want to say, Genevieve, it has been such an honor and a pleasure. I am so excited that I've found you.
Yeah, me too, babe. Like, holy, we get to connect now.
Yeah, I feel so safe in your presence, and I feel so safe from the level of the work that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you for the truth that you're bringing to the world and the liberation liberation that you're giving these women, and like, oh, it's so good.
Let's do it, babe. Let's do it, right?
Let's do it. All right.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
babe.